Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It is Wednesday afternoon, and it's time to talk some Major League Baseball. A few games already in play as our day is about to get underway right now. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Jason Radowitz, along with Kyle Purviance. We are the sportsbookreview.com Major League Baseball team. How you feeling today, Jason? It's the DeGrom Day.
Yeah, DeGrom Day going up against a 31-year-old pitcher who nobody's ever heard of. He's a AAA guy. Yeah. So these are spots where the Mets just don't seem to hit the ball throughout the entire life of the Mets. But maybe Steve Cohen and the new look Mets might change some things. But yesterday I lost both official plays, won both value plays. So weird day all around, but glad to get some money back with those value plays and hoping we can turn things around even more today with my best bet.
Absolutely, and I have a best bet as well, so this is going to be an action-packed day. We know Kyle's bringing the heat today on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, and, look, the Dodgers let me down a little bit, but how about Jason's Mets? Bottom of the fifth yesterday, getting the job done for me. The Indians did as well. It was a nice little parlay. So it was a nice day. If the Dodgers could have come through and not tied the first five, it would have been a nice, clean sweep. But, as Meatloaf says, don't be sad, because 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and we'll take it. I'm excited to be here with you boys. It's Wednesday. We got live baseball. It's going to be a good show.
Absolutely it is as we get after today. In-game live updates as we have a few things on the board currently right now. Let's take a look here. As we previewed yesterday, Oviedo will get rocked. Everybody knows he's going to get rocked. Top of the fifth inning. Not a single run has crossed the plate here. What's going on in that game? Cincinnati-Milwaukee, 0-0. And hey, here's what we can do, because a lot of people like this. Miami versus St. Louis, 0.0. Cincinnati-Milwaukee, 0.0. Tampa Bay, Chicago White Sox, 0.0. Detroit, Kansas City with Scoob on the mound, 0.0. No runs on the board, Jason. What's going on out here today?
Yeah, we can start with the Marlins offense, and Kyle and I were just talking about this. There's like 28 teams that I would take against Oviedo. The Marlins are not that team. We just saw a guy we never heard of ground out to a double play, and then Oviedo just hit the pitcher and then got out of the inning. I'd never seen anything like this before. He is outright terrible, but put up a 0 today. So tells you everything you need to know about the Marlins. You go to the Tigers Royals. It's been interesting. Screwball's been a lot better since April, so can't really fade him anymore. His xFIP is like under a 3 now in the last 30 days. Strikeout numbers through the roof, so he's been a lot better. That's a little bit of a reason as to why that game is 0-0. You go down to the Rays and White Sox. Giolito's been fantastic. Yarbrough has been going deep in games. Another reason why that game is 0-0. And what am I missing? Probably missing one.
Oh, Cincinnati, Milwaukee.
Yeah,
they just had bases loaded too.
Yeah,
Milwaukee can't get it done. There's been like 12 people on base and no runs.
And I know everyone's going to be complaining about that game where Castillo and Anderson both put up zeros and looked like actual superstars. So that game was an absolute SHIT show. But we're back at it today, and hopefully we'll get some runs on the board for the bets that we're on today.
Yep, all the way around. And because I don't have any wagers here in the afternoon action, which is good because if you're looking to jump in on live team totals, it looks like every single game you're going to be able to get a 1 on these teams. So good luck with that if you guys are checking out watching live, because I'm pretty sure St. Louis eventually is going to score. Maybe Miami will. Somebody in the chat box said here Lloyd said the Marlins are using their C lineup today. That's their everyday lineup is a C lineup. I don't know if they ever even have an A lineup actually in the ball game. But some interesting doings here across baseball. Kyle, real quick here before we get to the games on the card today. Wait, you're not fading Scooble anymore? What's going on here? We're not just auto-fading this guy like Harvey?
I don't know what the hell to do with Scooble anymore. My whole world is thrown for an absolute loop. I used to love fading this guy, and now all of a sudden he's Randy Johnson. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But, just kind of going back to the Marlins, their entire lineup today has 7 fewer home runs than Vladimir Guerrero by himself on the season. That is how bad the Marlins are. It is, and they have a combined over the last 3 games, their entire lineup had like 15 fantasy points total. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on in Miami, but I'll tell you what, they fleeced him. They absolutely fleeced that town for that stadium. Good God, Derek Jeter, that team. I don't know who 4 of those players are. I swear to God, I never even heard of them in my life. We do this every single day. I have no money on any of these early games. If you're sort of wondering what should I do here later, keep an eye on that Cincinnati-Milwaukee game. Of course, we love to attack that Cincinnati bullpen later in the game, so maybe you can get a value on a Milwaukee total later in that game. And same with Kansas City, Detroit. Looks like Detroit's putting some pressure on right now. Runner second and third, one out, it looks like. That's another one where maybe the Royals are a weird team, right? They go on these really horrific streaks. They had that 13-game losing streak earlier. Now they're 1-9 in the last 10, lost 5 in a row. So I don't know if you can trust them. But maybe later in the game you jump on a total when you get to that Detroit bullpen.
Yeah, here we go down the list. Just looking at the FanDuel Sportsbook right now, live wagering totals here. The Marlins and the Cardinals now sitting at a 3. Reds and Brewers 6.5. Detroit, Kansas City 8.5, and obviously Tampa Bay and the White Sox just underway. That's sitting at a 6.5. So we'll see how low they go. And by the way, interesting game. Now, we'll flip it down to the Padres Rockies because we're going to get started and have some fun here. But before we do that, over 100 people already watching in the chat box. Thank you guys for the love and support. 86,600 people have now hit the subscribe button, which is awesome, growing each and every day here at the channel. And also, you guys know that there is a Major League Baseball contest going on at sportsbookreview.com. Click the link below, sbrpicks.com/MLB for more details to find out how you can participate in $20,000 in Bitcoin up for grabs all season long right here at sportsbookreview.com. Looking at the card yesterday, I believe Kyle brought it up. 7s, I guess, is a team total for the San Diego Padres. Watching the game, keeping an eye. Hey, 2 runs in the first. How about that? 2 runs in the second. And I go, man, they're going to get like 15 runs in this game. They're really going to bust it. They didn't even score the rest of the game and took a loss with Darvish on the mound. Outrageous stuff, but it shows how good the Rockies have actually been at home this year. So now let's take a look at the game today as we set it up and put it on a tee here. Snell versus Freeland on the mound. We're looking at what we think is another marked mismatch here for pitching, but we'll see if it plays out. Freeland is a disaster out here, and that's why you open at 11.5 and you get 12s across the board. Minus 198 here in New Jersey as a favorite for the Padres. Minus 190 at Pinnacle. Looking at the lineup here for the San Diego Padres, it actually doesn't profile all that well. But here's another thing. Every time I say this, and whoever I say it to, they can't believe it. It's 100 degrees again in Colorado. Somehow this ball needs to start flying out of the ball yard, even though the wind is blowing in. Today, I think this afternoon game here, Jason, you're going to get a team total here, looking at it live at the FanDuel Sportsbook, MGM, 6.5 at minus 117. I actually think the Padres get 7 runs today. How crazy that is. 100 degrees, trash can on the mound. They have to bust out sooner or later in Colorado, Jason.
Yeah, well, I guess you just haven't taken the Padres too often this year because every time I take them, they know how to not score any runs.
Yes.
And that's what the Padres do. But, yeah, I mean, look at the lineup. Obviously, we got Freeland on the mound, 7.09 xFIP, striking out just 10.6% of the batters, walking 10.6% of the batters. So, yeah, he's been awful. But also the Padres' bats have been awful against lefties throughout the entire season. Only really Pham, who will likely lead off. I'm not sure if the lineup came out yet. Probably did. But if Pham's in the lineup, I love Tommy Pham. And Machado has some power, not getting on base all that much. Grisham not bad either, but he's also a lefty going up against a lefty pitcher in Freeland. Not saying that Freeland's been any better against lefties, but I don't think the Padres are that great offensively, no matter who they're facing, especially against a lefty. We saw even Joey Lucchesi go up against them and perform well as a lefty for the Mets. And I wouldn't say Freeland is that much different than Lucchesi there. So I would look towards Pham over on his total bases at 1.5 on the total bases. I think he's the one offensive bat that has been consistent against lefties so far this season for the Padres. I would just take him on the over on the total bases. Even if you want to take over 1.5 hits for him, I would just go with Pham. I don't trust this offense. I really don't. And if you're asking for 7 runs from that offense, I won't do it.
All right, Let's take a look at this, right, Kyle? And, it's nice because your name's Kyle. The guy pitching on the mound is Kyle. We're talking about some things I don't think I've ever seen in Major League Baseball. Home runs per 9 inning for Freeland this year, 3.71. Think about that. Every time he takes them out, he's letting 4 balls leave the yard. So let's just say they're all solo home runs. That's 4. But we know they're not going to be all solo home runs. Striking out 10% of the batters, which means guys are putting the ball in play. And if they are getting out, I don't know how, because the batting average that he's giving up, a 365. So that means everybody is Ted Williams coming up to the plate versus Kyle Freeland. Basically is what that's saying right now this year. Let's scroll it down even more. An ERA minus number, 197. The average in baseball is 100. Let's scroll it over to FIP minus, 221. Almost 2.5 times worse than the major league average. A 9 ERA, a Sierra at 6, which means every hit goes where the defense is not, I assume. I don't know what to do here, Kyle, but I like the over. We're going to go over value plays in just a little bit. I had to take the 6.5. It's a ridiculous number, but if you're giving me a pitcher that every time he steps on the mound, just about, he's giving up 3 to 4 home runs every 9 innings, oh my goodness.
Yeah, this one, at first glance, I'm with you. I'm all over the Padres here, and you're not getting a great number. You're getting a minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 145, and Snell is exponentially better than Freeland. But Snell hasn't been very good either. I mean, this has not been dominant Blake Snell, right? So it's a little bit nervous. Jason is right. Plenty of times I've put money on the Padres, and they just absolutely wet the bed in the sweetest of conditions. When we get to the value menu, I will talk about this game more, but the lineup profile is okay. I just can't trust Freeland. If you're going to bet this game, for me, the best number I could find, unless you're going to take that team total, which is way too rich for my blood. You got bigger cojones than I do, because I cannot get down with that 6.5. But I could take a minus 0.5, minus 145 in the first 5. Snell should be able to outdo Freeland. Even if, and I don't mind that over as well. You're absolutely right. That Colorado bullpen is absolutely atrocious. Mm-hmm. The Padres need to put up runs today. It's put up or shut up time. They're 2-8 in their last 10 games. They're falling behind the Dodgers and the Giants in the NL West. Padres first 5. They need this win. They need this game. It makes me nervous. I don't feel great about it, but yeah, I'll take Padres in the first 5.
I mean, it's rare that you get a pitcher profiling like that. I don't. Yeah. It's almost physically impossible. Like, Kyle, you could go at 365. That's a batting average. A 365 batting average is unheard of. And then you multiply that with, oh yeah, you're going to be at Coors Field, and he doesn't strike anybody out, and the ball's in the air. It's amazing stuff here. But that's why I wanted to bring it up and lead off right away, because that game's going to start in about a half hour's time. You know, Tommy Pham go deep. You know, Grisham can go deep. I'm just looking for a lefty to tattoo this guy, because even when you're taking a look at weighted on base average to lefties, he's faced 23 lefties this year, Kyle Freeland. A 582 weighted on base average and an ISO of 412. Something's got to give here, because again, you're looking at that San Diego Padres lineup. It's not all that great looking versus lefties, but sometimes you say that all lefties aren't built the same, and Kyle Freeland certainly isn't built to last, it seems like, in Major League Baseball at this point in his career. Let's keep going. The Angels and the Oakland Athletics, another afternoon game, 3:37 start here on the East Coast, 12:37 out west. Canning versus Irving. Low number here, 126 to 125 between New Jersey and offshore. Where this line open here, Jason? Now we're seeing 118s, low 120s, 117s across the board. 9s to somewhere at some outlets, 9.5s. What are we looking at today in this game between the Angels and the Oakland Athletics?
Yeah, I'm on the Angels over 3.5 on the team total at minus 145. I got there in the morning. I go to the gym, come back home. Now I see it's at minus 160. So obviously I'm a sharp here, but I can't really give that out for the show. So looked at FanDuel and found 4 at minus 122. That's what we're going to play with for the show. I am on the over 3.5, but we'll play with the 4 for the show at minus 122 for the Angels. Cole Irvin on the mound, and Donnie knows him well. Obviously not the greatest pitcher. Started off the year really, really hot. Now not nearly as good. 5.15 xFIP in the last 30 days, striking out just 12.5% of batters. Walks are low at 3.3%, but that won't really matter too much with the lineup that the Angels should have out there. And I'm not sure if the lineup came out yet. I would assume it did. But guys like Upton, Ohtani, Stazzi, Iglesias, Walsh, Goslin, they've all hit for power against lefties already this season. They're also walking 10% of the time. They got a weighted OBA of 402 with that projected lineup. I don't know if the actual lineup is out yet, though. These are just based off of the projected lineup. 290 ISO and a 402 weighted OBA, striking out 28% of the time, but I don't expect them to strike out too much against Irvin. Obviously, Irvin only striking out 12.5% of batters in the last 30 days. Now, if you go back to the Angels all of June, in June, they've scored four or more runs in like every single game, I think outside of one on like June 2nd or June 3rd, which was like a 3-2 game when Ohtani pitched. So it was a little bit low scoring in that game. The Angels offense, they've been on fire recently. And again, they're going up against Irvin, who's allowing 41.6% of hard contact. He's only getting 32.7% of ground balls. Also, batting average of balls in play at 344. And the Angels, they're hitting against lefties, 392 batting average of balls in play. So with the Angels getting 9 innings to be able to score 4 runs, obviously I think they can get 5 or 6 and beyond that. I'd like the Angels to get this over on 3.5 from the team total at -145. But again, we'll go with the show over 4 team total at -122.
Yeah, lineup is out here going up against Cole Irvin, Upton, Ohtani, Stassi, Iglesias, Ward, Walsh, Goslin, Lagares, and Fletcher in the lineup today. Now, Kyle, I know you're always good with it looks like a decent lineup in here today. But when you talk about no runs first inning, if you're going to do it in this game, look, Cole Irvin isn't a huge strikeout pitcher guy. But you're looking also at the top 3 guys who are all righties here. Take a look at their profile against lefties this season. Upton at 358 ISO, 422 weighted on base average. Ohtani 343, 349 weighted on base average. Stassi 444 with the 451 weighted on base average. This is your day. They should be able to get to him early today, Kyle. What are your thoughts today out there on the West Coast?
Yeah, definitely not a nerfy spot for me. And when I look across the board and I'm looking for an underdog spot and a little plus money spot, the Angels kind of stand out to me here. Both pitchers, mediocre pitchers, but I do like I think the Angels lineup profiles better now that it's out here. It clearly profiles better. Canning, he's okay, right? He's just all right. In his last 5 starts against Oakland, he's had 40, 30, 26, 6, and 14. So it's sort of been a mixed bag. He's been hit some. He's pitched well some. I think the Angels are live dogs here. I do like the Angels in DFS. I have a little sprinkle on Ohtani home run prop as well. I think you can get it done early there. So, yeah, I like the Angels here plus money.
There you go. So we got plus money. We got tractors going on in the background, flyovers, dogs. We got it all in the sportsbookreview.com show here this afternoon, as always. But it's 9 is a total in this game. We'll see. It's Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, as they used to call it, but also you get a day game here. What are we used to in these guys? 65 degrees, 60 degrees at night. The ball might carry a little bit more because that ballpark is heated up just a bit. Last game we're going to talk about, the reason I bring this up is because Jacob deGrom is doing historic things, and there's historic lines with him as well. A -300 in New Jersey, -295 offshore, 6.5s across the board. I know we like to say maybe the Mets don't hit when deGrom is on the mound, but boy, if you bet on deGrom, he is fun to watch, and you are amazed when somebody even gets on base, let alone gets a base hit or even scores on him, Jason.
Yeah, but look, deGrom, he's 6-2 with a .56 ERA. He's been fantastic, but he is coming off an injury, and the Mets are going to monitor it. They've done that before where they've only let him go 5-6 innings, even when he had more in the tank. So I'd be careful there. Also, the Cubs have kind of had his number in the past. They've had some success against him. Obviously, this is a different season, and deGrom's on another level, and the Cubs' offense has struggled recently. But, I'd be careful. deGrom, obviously, coming off an injury. I don't know if you really want to bet that, especially at -300 as a favorite. But Robert Stock on the mound going for the Cubs. He's a 31-year-old, 0-3 on the year in AAA, 4.12 ERA in 9 games. He's had some experience in the MLB, not like he hasn't been there before. 52 games for the Padres and the Red Sox from about 2018 to 2020. But we even had some guys in the chat. They're like, I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I never heard of him in my life. So, yeah, the Mets profile well against Stock here. They should be able to score some runs. But I think there's other games on the slate that are better where you can find more value. There's only value on the Cubs really in this game, but I wouldn't advise you to take the Cubs here against Jacob deGrom. And that whole mystery or that whole thing that people talking about, well, the Mets don't score with deGrom on the mound. Well, somehow he's 6-2 with a .56 ERA, so they are hitting the ball when he's on the mound. So just definitely not true. Yeah, they're not scoring 10 runs, but they're scoring enough to get them the wins. But I would stay away from this game, to be honest.
Yeah, it's funny, Kyle, because when we take a look at these games, we talked about and joked about Freeland, who was the worst pitcher on the card today, and then obviously Jacob deGrom, not only the best pitcher on the card, but maybe the best pitcher of the last 150 years. So it's fun to see his statistics and how they line up. His ERA, let's compare the two. Kyle Freeland's ERA minus is 197. deGrom is 15. His FIP minus is 22, and you slide it down to Freeland. His is 221. You see his FIP minus is a 37. Freeland is a 158. It's outrageous, the differentials in some of these pitchers on the mound today. Now, going up against and laying money, do you say, hey, -300? Look, if you got a shoebox bet where it's under the bed and you're saying, hey, every time deGrom goes out there, I'm going to put a shoebox down. he doesn't lose that often. And even if you took a look at maybe the first 5 innings on him, which is probably even going to be escalated more, it's hard to say I'm just going to fade that big number. It's Major League Baseball. Anything can happen because this year, I think we know exactly what happens with DeGrom, Kyle.
Yeah, exactly. But you're absolutely right. The numbers just stink. I mean, minus 300 on any, but I'm not laying 300 on the Mets ever. No way, shape, or form. In any scenario, it's not going to happen. If you do the first 5, it's still minus 0.5 is minus 185. Do you really want to do that? So the only way I would bet this, Jason's right. The Cubs have sort of had DeGrom's number. He's coming back from the injury. He's going to get his hand monitored like he's getting on an airplane before every inning and after every inning. Maybe if you got the cojones and you know on the scared money don't make money, you take a plus 250 underdog stab with the Cubs and hope that this can out of AAA can hold down a Mets lineup that, it's not unusual for them to get held down. As the team total over 3.5 for the Mets is minus 140, 135. So maybe the Mets team total, maybe an underdog play on the Cubs, but the number is, do I think DeGrom's going to go out and shut him out? Most likely. Yes. I mean, just everything says he will. But do you really want to be holding the bag at minus 185 or minus 300? Not me personally. So for me, it's a dog or pass situation, or maybe you could take a sprinkle on that Mets team total.
Let's go, Mets. As you will hear the chants from Jason's house tonight, seeing if the Mets can certainly win. Another one here as the Phillies flounder out on the West Coast going up against the Dodgers. And we'll see what the Braves bring to the ballpark tonight versus the Boston Red Sox. Let's get to the value menu wagers on the card. Yesterday I went 1-1, but the game I lost was light juice. And it actually went to extra innings and thought I was going to take it down with the Texas Rangers. Lost that one, but did hit on the play I had with the Atlanta Braves. And hint, Atlanta Braves, the key word of the day today. But as I said, I'm going to have a little bit of fun in this afternoon. We're going to get a game started in about the next half hour. San Diego Padres for me, 6 and not for the game, not the team, not the entire game and both teams, just the Padres today. I'm going over 6.5 at minus 117. Put it this way, we might get this bad boy by the 5th inning, and I'm getting after it today. 100 degrees in Colorado with maybe the worst pitcher I've ever seen profiling about 2.5 months into the season in Colorado. I'll take it. Give me 7. Give me a touchdown for the Padres out here.
Dang.
How about that one? Let's go, Jason. What do you got? Value.
Yeah, so the Pirates' first Nationals game, that's going to be at 4 o'clock. I like the Nationals as a value play at minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings. Chase DeJong on the mound for Pittsburgh, and I know Donnie was on against him in his last start, allowed 2 runs there, and then the Pittsburgh bullpen allowed the rest. But DeJong, he's just been pretty awful throughout the year, as of course we got some noise in the background because it wouldn't be a Wednesday without it.
Right.
So, yeah, let's go to this Pittsburgh game real quickly. And DeJong right now, in his last 30 days, 6.5 xFIP, 18.5% strikeout, walking 10.8% of batters, ground balls just 28.3%, hard contacts 41.3%. And this Washington lineup, they're not that great, but they have so many guys that can hit hard contact against righties like Schwarber, like Turner, like Soto, like Bell, just throughout the order. They've got some guys that can just hit hard shots. So I think the Nationals get the job done against DeJong. Espino on the mound for Washington, coming off a solid start. In his last start against the Giants, allowed 1 home run, 3.1 innings pitched. I think he can stretch out long enough to go 5 innings, and he really hasn't been bad as a relief guy, as a starter in that last start. So I do like the Nationals here, minus 0.5 in the first 5, but it's a value play because I just don't know what we're going to get out of this Espino.
There you go. All right, switching over to you, Kyle. What are you checking out there? Where's the value on your card today?
Well, I'm going to piggyback a little bit here on those Padres, and I'll take that minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 145. Just a little value menu sprinkle here on the Padres. I'm with you. They should smash this guy. I mean, he's absolutely dreadful. So give me the Padres in the first 5. Hopefully Snell can hold them down just enough to get that 1-run lead through 5 innings. I also have a Shohei Ohtani home run prop and a Nelson Cruz home run prop going up against Sheffield. Over the last 3 years, Nelson Cruz, 1237 OPS versus left-handed pitching. Obviously, Sheffield versus righties, a 747. It's a 50% advantage. Nelson Cruz hasn't homered in a few days. I think he knocks one out tonight. Actually, that entire Twins lineup looks pretty solid for DFS as well off of Sheffield tonight. So that's the value. Padres minus 0.5 first 5. Nelson Cruz, Ohtani home run props. Let's get it done.
All right, best bets and bankers here on the Major League Baseball card. I am back in action tonight, and we are going to take it down. Let me just scroll over to get this one quick reading here down in Hotlanta. Yep, just the way we like it. 84 degrees first pitch, blowing down to about right center field, 8 miles an hour. I'm going to go right back to yesterday where I had a 4.5 that hit as a value menu wager. We're going to upgrade that today to a play of the day going up against Garrett Richards on the season, a 5.07 xFIP. And a lot of the times is if you just give me an average pitcher on the mound, average pitchers can do well against average lineups. When you're in Atlanta, it's a hitter's ballpark. In Atlanta, each and every night, regardless of who they put out there, they got some guys that can do damage. Now, we do have a lineup that's coming out today. Contreras is going to be out. Kevin Smith is going to be in, who Smith isn't very good of a batter, but Contreras has been okay this year. The rest of the lineup stacks up and looks really good down there tonight. Now, also keep in mind, Garrett Richards has had some pretty good starts this year, but if we go back and say now where Major League Baseball is saying you can't, if you're an average pitcher and you're just using to get your spin rate higher by doctoring the baseball, ain't happening. So is it any surprise in his last start, 5.1 innings, 11 hits, 4 earned runs, and only struck out 3 guys? I think it might be coming down the list here with some of these pitchers going to these hotter ballparks and not having those gunk to try to, trip it up and get some extra strikeouts, and that ball staying 6 inches below the strike zone when now that's going to be teetering right over the middle. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves. It's the same price that we were looking at yesterday here, 4.5. But today it's at a -125. No reason to believe for me today that they can't get to 5 runs once again. They were getting buried dead and early yesterday, but that's good. You like to have a running mate. So maybe if the Sox can do the same thing, Atlanta Braves can chase them down. Play of the day for me, the Atlanta Braves going off a fade of Richards. What's the best we get out of them tonight? 5 innings, 3 earned runs. I'll take that each and every time. Give me 2 runs late in the game. Give me a close game, a chance for extra innings. We're getting 5 runs tonight at the Atlanta Braves. I'm making them my play of the day, 4.5. Go over that team total. Jason, take it away. Best bets and bankers for you today.
Yep. I'm going to be on the Angels over 3.5 on the team total. That's at -145. Now I'm seeing, obviously, that went up to about -160. So we're going to go with the 4 for the show at -122 via FanDuel. Again, we just saw the lineup earlier. We talked about it. Upton, Ohtani, Stazzy, Iglesias, Ward, Walsh, Gosselin, Garrison, Fletcher. It's a great lineup. They've been destroying lefties. They've been destroying the baseball recently. They've been really, really hot offensively in June. I think that continues, and they've been hitting hard. And against Irvin, a lot of batters are finding space in the outfield with hits. So I do like the Angels here over the 4 on the team total at -122 as the official play. But also, like Donnie always likes to talk about, you're going to have the other team, they're going to be scoring some runs too. And you'll have a little mate there. So if you get a 3-3 game, going to the 6th, 7th inning, there's always that extra inning potential there. And both teams can definitely do that against, Griffin Canning. Oakland's lineup, they have Laureano back there, so that's going to help their lineup as well. But I'm just more comfortable going with the Angels lineup against Cole Irvin here.
There you go. So let's get it over there, Kyle. By the way, Jason, do you put like steroids, I assume, on your grass, which they are there every day, buzz cutting your grass?
Yeah, it seems like it, right? No, it's also neighbors as well, so I can never win, huh? Never win. Perfect timing every time.
Yep, you got it. The Amazon guy hits the door, the dog barks, and like only this time of the day they come by. It's amazing stuff. I've been there before. Trust me on that. Kyle, best bets and bankers today. What are you digging on?
I'm going back to my Cleveland Indians. I'm going to take a -0.5 in the first 5 at -115. Their lineup just profiles better to me against the lefty Aiken. Now, these guys did square off, about a week and a half ago, something like that. And Aiken was slightly better. I don't expect that trend to continue. Savali, a much, much better pitcher here. Seeing him for a second time in recent history, I think he will go through and get it done. When you look at that Cleveland lineup, we've got advantages right here in the middle of the lineup. 51, 34, 35, 49, and 28. I think Cleveland gets it done. -0.5 in the first 5, -115. And one more, babe. We got Garrett Cole on the mound for the Yankees. And the Yankees are hitting off of Ross Stripling. Legitimately, every single hitter in the Yankees lineup has a 22% advantage or higher outside of Chris Gittins, who gives a damn what Chris Gittins does. But the Yankees should get it done tonight. Stripling's an absolute can. Of course, Garrett Cole is going to come out and deal in his last 5 starts against Toronto. 52, 49, 49, and 34 fantasy points. and you're getting at a pretty cheap number, -0.5 in the first 5 at -125. I think the gap between Cole and Stripling is much bigger than that, so I think it's a nice value. So I'll make the Indians -0.5 in the first 5 and the Yankees -0.5 in the first 5 as my 2 official plays of the day.
Yeah, maybe the Yankees woke up last night, got a key hit late in that game, came back in that one, nice win. But we've been waiting on the New York Yankees for quite a bit here to turn into what they usually are when you see that lineup. But we'll see if they make any changes at the trade deadline or anything heats up over the summer. Certainly they are in a hitter's ballpark, and you get Garrett Cole in the mound. You should be okay tonight to pick up another victory against an AL East opponent. Let's slide it down here. The odds lightning round as we get through the rest of the card to see if we can pick off and find some games that are interesting here. And I know we're talking about Pittsburgh and Washington. 957, 958. DeYoung on the mound versus Espino. 2 pitchers without much pedigree. But you know what? I flipped down and I'm saying, you know what? The minute I saw DeYoung on the mound, because I faded him last time and picked up a victory on him, but I see the lineups that are out today and how they look versus, righty-lefty split, so to speak. It looks bad on both sides. But actually, if I have to say, the lineup overall for Pittsburgh does look better. But again, it's Pittsburgh. So I don't know if we could take it today. What do you think, Jason? Oh, look how much he thinks of it.
Yeah, channeling his inner Kelsey Kramer. There we go.
Let him go. Hey!
Yeah, I'm actually on the Nationals -0.5 in the first 5 as a value play. Espino, he's been really good. I think that's how you say his name. But in his last start against the Giants, 3.1 innings pitched, only allowed 1 home run, 5 strikeouts, no walks. And he's been good out of the bullpen, too. I think he's a much better pitcher here. And then you have DeYoung on the mound for Pittsburgh. And, he has not been very good. 6.5 xFIP, striking out 18.5%, like I said earlier, walking 10.8%. And the power is coming from both sides at a ridiculous rate. The Nationals, they don't really, line up very well. But against a pitcher like DeYoung, I really do expect the Nationals to show some power in this game, show some really solid offense in this one. They got guys in the lineup that can really, that do have power, and they showed it in the past. Schwarber, Turner, Soto, Bell, Gomes, they got some power in the lineup. And going up against a guy with a 6.5 xFIP, not striking out many batters, walking 10%, the Nationals should be able to score some runs, no matter how bad they've been against other pitchers. I think they're good enough in this spot. So again, I am on the Nationals as a value play, -0.5 in the first 5 innings here.
All right, let's still got one out here in the top of the 7th inning. And the only reason I bring that up in Miami and St. Louis is now it's that fun time to get. The away team total, over 1, +102. The home team, over 1.5, +124. So if that game gets to extra innings, you're cashing tickets. And you say, if you just think you can get 1-1 each side in this game overall, the over-under in this game as a total is 2.5. So one to watch. A lot of people out there, regardless if you're capping or what's going on in the game, you see that stuff and say, well, if nobody scores, you're probably going to win it. And if, let's just say, the Marlins score in the top of the 7th, that means you have the bottom of the 7th, bottom of the 8th, and the bottom of the 9th for the Cardinals to get 1 run off of the Marlins. And you're getting both of those at plus money prices. So we'll see how they do turn out. But let's keep on moving it down. We just talked a little bit about the Yankees and Toronto here with Kyle. So we're going to skip that over that game and go to 973 and 974, 7 o'clock here on the East Coast. Baltimore and Cleveland. Aiken, the lefty on the mound versus Savali, a 159 to 166 across the board, depending on where you're shopping at. But how about this? An 8 drops down to a 7.5. When we take a look at both of these lineups with Baltimore and Cleveland, again, it leaves a lot to be desired here. Aiken hasn't been that bad. Look at his lefty-righty splits with weighted on base averages here, Kyle. 301 to lefties, 302 to righties. ISO power number 129 and .097. He's actually been pretty good when, as soon as you see guys like this, like, how do I fade a guy from Baltimore? Hasn't been that bad. And those bats for Cleveland, you get what you get sometimes.
Yeah, I'm still taking him. I am still going with the Indians. And how about Salvador Perez just hitting a homer? He was on my little home run list in DFS. So there we go. We get that Perez. I wish I would have told you guys about that before he did it. But nonetheless, he's on the damn list. But no, I do think the wheels fall off a little bit for Aiken tonight. I don't see them hitting Savali the way they did last time. I know he's had a couple rough starts, but when he's on, he is on. I expect him to dominate this lineup now, seeing him for the second time in a week and a half. And when I look at that middle of the order for Cleveland, as I mentioned before, 40%, 28%, 49, 26, and 40. I like that middle of the order today off of Aiken. I think they can get it done. So I'm going Cleveland -0.5 in the first 5. Yes, it makes me nervous. Every time I take the Indians lineup, it makes me very, very nervous. But all I think they need to do is get 1 or 2 runs here, and they should be good. So give me the Indians in the first 5, one of my official plays of the day.
Interesting stuff here. And by the way, just shopping around, I look at a couple different books here, and one of these are showing the San Diego Padres team total today, 7.5 plus 105. So
Wow.
8 runs you need to cash that ticket in when we're looking at MGM at 6.5 at minus 117, a little bit more palatable. But that goes to show you what you're dealing with Freeland on the mound. A San Diego squad that is struggling, and the odds makers are going, it doesn't matter. You could pull a guy out of the stands, and he's going deep against Freeland today. So we'll see how that does play out. But just one of those dynamics where shop around, get the line you want. You might have to pay a little bit more for it, but then again, you're going to get that line, particularly in Major League Baseball, where every run counts. You might be able to make up some of the difference here. Let's keep moving forward, Jason, going over some of these games. Boston, I want your take on this. Boston and Atlanta, Richards versus Anderson, 979, 980 across the board, 9.5. So you need 10 to cash this ticket in. 2 good-looking lineups here. But as I look at this again today, which I thought yesterday, which didn't work out, I do think Atlanta has the best of the pitching matchup and the better lineup. It just will it play out tonight? And that's a heavy line to price. Heavy line to pay. 154 in New Jersey, 150 offshore for Atlanta. But I do think they are the better team here tonight.
Yeah, I love the Braves over 4.5 team total.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. And I think if Ian Anderson, if he's able to limit the walks just a little bit more, he's an ace pitcher. He's going to be the top pitcher for the Braves, and he could be really, really good. And I think that he'll do just fine. Like I said, if he limits the walks, which he did in his last start. So, just 5.6% walks in his last 30 days, 24.7% strikeouts, an xFIP of 3.7 in those last 30 days. Richards, on the other hand, like you said, 5.32 xFIP in the last 30 days, 17.8% of strikeouts, 12.4% walks. He's been awful. And like you said, the Braves, their offense, up and down that lineup, always really, really solid. When you have guys like Acuna, Freeman, Albies, Riley, and even Swanson in the lineup every single day to day, the Braves have so much potential in scoring runs. And against Richards, that should happen. He's been absolutely hit hard recently, and it can't get any better for him, especially with being checked for sticky stuff. So I agree here. I like the Braves here, and I also would look at the Braves minus 0.5 in the first 5. I do like Anderson. I really think he's a solid pitcher, and I think he's just going to get better and better as each season goes on. But right now, it's just hard to back any pitcher. We just don't know what they've been using, what they can't use anymore, and we're going to have to kind of adjust on the fly now.
Yeah, it's great stuff, too, because you saw yesterday how idiotic Major League Baseball players are. They're the most detached athletes on the planet, from NBA guys, NFL guys, hockey guys, baseball. They just live on a completely other planet. And there's a reason why. When you see guys like Tyler Glasnow out here saying, hey, I'm a really good pitcher. But by the way, it's very unfair what baseball did to me. I cheated this whole season. They're telling me I can't cheat now. And I wanted to cheat the rest of the season, so I actually got on the horn with Rob Manfred and said, look, I know I'm cheating, but you can't stop me from cheating now. I should be able to cheat all the way through the World Series and then try to reevaluate it the next year. I even did another show today where I'm saying, equate this, Kyle, to Barry Bonds. Let's just say back in, 2003, 2001, whatever it was, going to break the home run record, and the Balco scandal breaks out. Barry Bonds takes a press conference and goes, I'm using the clear and the cream right now, and I'm having a great season. Baseball just can't take me away from cheating and juicing up all summer long. They need to wait till the end of the year when I break this record. Then I'll find something else that they can't detect. They're on a complete, I can't even imagine this happening. Then here's the other one coming in. Well, there's sun out, and if we can't put sunscreen on our bodies, we're going to get cancer. Are you kidding? They're saying you can't dump it in your hair. If you remember an old baseball pitcher, who's not that old actually, Clay Buchholz, used to pitch for the Philadelphia Phillies, most recently for the Boston Red Sox. He looked like he just got out of the shower in the first inning for putting sunscreen in all over his hair, his body, and his hat. We're saying as baseball, look, you can put sunscreen on. Just don't gunk it up and use, grease. Kyle, real quick before you get to the next game. Glasnow actually said it's unfair that you're stopping us from cheating midway through the season. At least wait for the end of the season.
I didn't. I just looked up and said, wow, I'll tell you what, it takes balls, but you've got, who the hell do you think you are? Are you crazy? If my son, when I say, hey, turn in your homework, he's like, Dad, I haven't been turning in my homework all year long. You're going to make me do it now? Are you high? Are you smoking peyote? What are you talking about? And to come out and say he just has absolutely no, apparently, self awareness. He can't read their. I thought it was the weirdest thing. I just kind of sat there. I was watching this dating game show, and this girl admitted to wearing adult diapers, and I felt about as stunned as when that lady told me she wore. Why in the hell would you tell the world that you wear adult diapers? I don't understand Glasnow. What an absolute buffoon. I hope he falls I just hope he falls flat on his face the rest of the year. I can't stand the Tampa Bay Rays, period.
Well, he's done anyway. And he actually blamed his injury, Kyle, that he wasn't able to cheat. So since he wasn't able to cheat, he blew his arm out, which shows you the idiocy of the entire argument itself. It's like if everybody was doing steroids and like, hey, look, I'm going to crash so hard by July. You can't do this, baseball. Allow me to use roids till November, and then I'll figure out in the offseason. Enough of that ridiculous story. But that is Major League Baseball in a nutshell, from their leadership to their players and what they actually think about the game and what actually hurts it. So let's keep moving forward here. A couple games left on the card before we get out of here on a Wednesday. Kyle, I'm going to come to you. Lyles is on the mound. Gas can alert. 8.5 now showing 9s across the board. A massive favorite for the Houston Astros, between 215 to 240, between where you're shopping at. But once again, are we trusting Lyles? Because this Astros lineup each and every night looks pretty potent. And I want to say they should be able to hit Lyles today. By the way, real quick, I wonder if the roof is open in Houston. What's the odds here, Kyle?
Definitely not. They just refuse to do it. I don't know what it would. They'll probably wait till the day it's pouring rain and like, you know what, let's open this roof. And I mean, I don't know. They're absolutely bizarre, but you're right. It's a heavy, heavy favorite to the Astros. It's Astros or bust. You got to get creative. You got to take that team total, get the number down, or minus 0.5 in the first fives, minus 150. Still don't love that very much. Let me see the updated team total here, because maybe you could take a sprinkle on this if it's not outrageous. 5.5. So you could probably get 4.5 in that minus 145, minus 150 range. That's probably where I'd go with this game. I expect Houston to smash Lyles. Astros or bust for me.
There you go. All right. I mean, I could say it's a heavy price, but you do think the Astros should be able to hit today. Arizona with Kelly, they thought they were going to get a win, Jason, on the road, but they give up a grand slam late and actually lost that game by 1, going up against DeSclafani. The ultimate fade team is Arizona, but again, when you're not betting the games on a side, who cares if they lose? We thought yesterday they might be able to hit. They dropped 8 runs, still wasn't enough. DeSclafani and Kelly today, 172 favorite New Jersey, 167 offshore, 8s across the board. Jason, what are we looking at here between San Francisco and Arizona?
Yeah, look, Arizona, they're just a complete joke. I mean, what was that? Like, how did they lose? Like, how did they lose that game?
Unbelievable.
It's just, they're just, we could put them kind of next to the Pirates now. Like, they're that bad. They might be the worst team in baseball. Yeah. And the Rockies might not even be they might be the 3rd worst now. Like, Arizona, their lineup, it profiles so well. And, like, on paper, it kind of looks good. Like, they have a lot of great names like Marte, Escobar, Christian Walker, Peralta, Vogt. Like, they got names in the lineup. They just don't produce whatsoever. And when they do produce, the bullpen decides not to produce. And it's just a disaster of a team. So I can't tell anybody to go and, back Arizona. But Merrill Kelly, he has been one of the brighter spots for this team. 3.12 xFIP in the last 30 days, 27.4 strikeouts per 9, and 27.4% strikeouts, and also just 4% walks. So he's been really good. Don't really expect Arizona's offense to do much against DeSclafani. DeSclafani hasn't been the best of pitchers either, but again, they don't really profile very well. I think under 4.5 in the first 5 is the way to look in this game, but I'm going to stay away from Diamondback games for a little bit. Every time I kind of back them, they don't really perform. So I'll stay away from them. I'll let you guys go win some bets with them, and I'll stay away so you guys can win bets. I'm a team player.
It's interesting because I would have liked to take San Francisco's team total tonight, but here's the reason why I laid off it. Obviously, it's a pitcher's ballpark, but secondarily, Kelly is really bad against righties. The projected lineup tonight for the San Francisco Giants has 6 lefties and only 2 righties, when Merrill Kelly has actually been pretty good against lefties. Not to say they're not going to be able to rake, because there's a lot of high ISO power numbers versus righties, and Kelly's not the greatest pitcher, but just that profile, if it was flipped around and say 344 weighted on base average, 209 ISO was for the lefties, they would do some damage tonight against Kelly. So it'll be interesting to see how that one plays out in this round. Philadelphia and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know how many runs we're going to get tonight, because Kershaw should be able to keep the Phillies down. Zach Wheeler has been a godsend as a free agent pickup, just eating up innings and being one of the more dominant pitchers in Major League Baseball. 140 to 152 where we're shopping at. I still can't trust the Phillies in this situation. Bryce Harper probably not going to play tonight with some mysterious back injury, but I would do the same thing going up against Clayton Kershaw, lefty on lefty, like Bryce Harper is. Quick thoughts here, Kyle, in this game.
Yeah, that one's tough, and everyone loves those nerfies. This would be the nerfy spot for me. I do think both pitchers get out of the first inning. It's probably juiced up. I don't know the number. Just to touch on real quick, Merrill Kelly, by the way, his last 5 starts against the Giants, 4 out of those 5 starts, at least 35 fantasy points or more. So he's actually pitched pretty well against that Giants lineup. Just for Jason to go out there and make his Diamondbacks pick official. There we go. But no, I do like the Dodgers. Look, I'll take the Dodgers anytime there's a righty on the mound. I do like the under in the first 5 innings. Let me get the updated line here. I'll take the under 3.5 at -120 in the first 5 innings. I just think both pitchers can go through these lineups. I do like the Dodgers against righties, but you're right. Wheeler has been absolutely spectacular. I expect him to keep that going tonight. 65, 58, 64, and 44 in his last 4 starts overall. 49 against the Dodgers last time out. Only a 6.12 weighted 3-year OPS for the Dodgers. That's as low as you're ever going to see for them against a righty. No runs first inning, and give me the under in the first 5 innings.
There you go. By the way, I'm just watching the San Diego Padres game. The spirit of the game sometimes comes into play on calls that they make. Guy sliding in for a double clearly was in safe, but slides a little bit over the bag where his elbow just comes off and then comes back on, but he stays on and he's called out. There's no instant replay. Nobody would care about that one bit, and the umps would say, hey, he beat the throw, which is what you usually do. But some of those where the spirit of the game comes into, where you just keep the tag on for 37 seconds, and eventually a guy slides off a bag, that's what happened there in that spot. So maybe a run off of the board and saves Freeland this one. Last game, we'll talk about Minnesota, Seattle, Ober versus Sheffield, the lefty on the mound. 8.5 for the game. Seems a little bit low to me in this one. An offensive explosion for Seattle. But where the hell are the Twins in this series, Kyle?
I think the Twins lineup profiles really nicely tonight. I actually like that Nelson Cruz home run prop. When I just look at the advantages across the board here, I'm not exactly sure what just happened here, but I know
I
something.
love it. No, hold on. See, if people don't understand that, this is the worst thing you can do as a host to somebody. And I've been on both ends of the stuff where you're just already zoned out, ready to see what you're going to wrap up the show with. It's like, Kyle, what do you think about this game? You're like, hold on, wait, let me find this.
I was definitely not ready.
Go ahead, Jason. Take it away. I didn't mean to do that. Go ahead, Jason.
It's okay. Go ahead, Jason. Let her rip. I like the Twins too, though. I like the damn Twins, all right?
It's all good. Hey, we can mention Pham got 1 hit, so I did say total bases of 1.5 as one of my player props that I liked. So now he's already got 1 in the first inning, so that looks really good there.
Jason, does he get a double for that, though? He slid into second base and then left over second base. Is that not a double?
A single.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, go ahead.
I wasn't watching the game, so I didn't even see what happened, but I just see a single. Anyway, Twins versus Mariners, Bailey Ober versus Justice Sheffield. I mean, it's an over game here. Obviously, Sheffield 5.83 xFIP, Ober 5.15 xFIP. Not bad on the strikeouts and the walks, but batting average of balls in play 389 really doesn't fool you with his stuff for the most part. So I do like the over in this game. I think Twins finally find their offense, but maybe just like go with the total bases for like the top 4 guys in the lineup, because the bottom half of the lineup for the Twins is just awful. Also, the Mariners, they're going to have some lefties in the lineup that can do damage against Ober, Crawford, Seager, Fraley, Bowers, Trammell. There's potential for some power and home runs from those guys as well. So again, I do like the over, but if you want to play the Twins on their side, just go to the total bases for like the top guys in the lineup, like Cruz, Donaldson, Jeffers. Those, I mean, the bottom half of the lineup is just awful. So it's hard to rely on that offense when you just have half of the lineup just not performing whatsoever.
It's interesting. Real quick, I want your 2 opinions on this, because I think I already know the answer, but baseball is weird in this. Let's just say you're trying for an in-the-park home run, right? And you run around the bases, you get thrown at the plate. They give you a triple. So why, if you get a double, but you touch second base and slide over it and they tag you out, that's only a single? What happens if you get a double and you try, like you get caught in a rundown between second and third? It's still a double at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a double. I thought if you got the second safely and then got the double. I don't understand how it would be a single.
Yeah, it's an interesting, like, it's like a little twitch, because I never actually thought about that before, but it doesn't make sense. Like if you beat the throw to second base while you're going for a double, but overslide the bag, theoretically you're basically turning towards third. If you get tagged out, you still get a double, but I guess not in that instance. It's an interesting one on that end of it, but it is what it is, and we are out of here on a Wednesday. But before we do that, let's wrap it up and clear the bases with what we got going on our plays. In play right now for me, a value menu wager on the San Diego Padres team total over 6.5, still in the first inning, 1 runner on. And it looks like we have another run. So it looks like it's going to be first and third now, despite a guy getting thrown out at second base. So see if we can do some damage. That's 3 hits already, I believe, against Freeland in the first inning. Best bet and banker for me tonight, the Atlanta team total over 4.5 at -125. Same place at BetMGM. Jason, where's your value at, and where's your best bet and bankers tonight?
Yeah, so the value on the Nationals -0.5 in the first 5. Also, as I said earlier, Pham over 1.5 on total bases. So we're halfway there. We'll see if we can get that. But he should, if they score 7 or more runs, he should have plenty of at-bats to get another base hit. So that's looking pretty good there. But the official play, the big play, it's at 337. So get those wagers in right now if you want to get on it. Angels over 4 at minus 122 on FanDuel. Personally, I have the over 3.5, but that line shifted up a little bit. So we're going to go with that 4 on FanDuel at minus 122 for the show. And I think that they'll destroy Irvin early in this game. And hopefully that happens way before dinner hour, and I can just enjoy the rest of the night.
Yeah.
There you go, Kyle. What you got tonight? Where's the value? Where's the best bets?
Value menu, we're going to that Padres minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 145. That's already obviously going on. I like a little bit of home run props on Nelson Cruz and Shohei Ohtani. My official plays of the day, Indians minus 0.5 in the first 5, minus 115. Savali over Clay, American Idol Aiken. And I like the Yankees minus 0.5 in the first 5 at minus 125. They should rock Stripling. And a little NBA prop for you all. We're going right back to that Ben Simmons well. I don't know what they're doing, but over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You got a hobble Joel Embiid. Game 5 at home. Evened up series. I think Ben Simmons breezes past that 28.5 points, rebounds, and assist number. Give me the Sixers tonight and give me that Ben Simmons prop as well.
By the way, real quick, Kyle, soccer's on right now. And here's my interesting point from yesterday. I watched a game where 3 goals scored, but only 1 actually counted. Yeah. And Italy just scored a moment ago. And I look back up on the screen, it's 0-0 again. So apparently nobody knows what a goal is, offsides. What kind of sport is this? But anyway, that's for another show, neither here nor there. Let's get out of here on a Wednesday. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Let's cash in some tickets here. We'll be back once again on Thursday, same time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here on SportsBookReview.com's YouTube channel. For Donnie Seymour, which obviously is me, Jason Radowitz, and Kyle Purviance, we are the SportsBookReview.com Major League Baseball team. This was the show. Good luck on those wagers.